Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Swimbait79 here. Today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to modify a normal frog that has skirted legs to a homemade sprinker frog, which is like this. I know a lot of us, if you're a diehard frog fisherman, I know you got some dumbass frogs sitting inside your tackle box that you do not really use or utilize, or it just sits there and collects dust. Sooner or later, these silicone legs will start to deteriorate, both from UV rays and a little bit of moisture trapped inside of a little plastic box. Was just a recipe for gumminess. So what I do normally is I just cut the legs off so they look like this. But when you do it, you got to be careful not to pull the legs all the way out like that. If you do, it's no worries. You can still fill that up with a little bit of silicone. With a bunch of drops of super glue you can. It'd just be a little bit tougher. But it'll be a whole lot easier if you do leave a little something inside that hole and just snip it off flush. Will be more beneficial. You won't really have to do anything. Maybe drop a drop of super glue on there, as I did on this one. Therefore, your frog is legless. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it look like this. With a little plopping style frog. And I'll show you why I do that. Well, to tell you the truth, nowadays, these frogs are up to $16.99 per frog. Each frog comes with a spare CPS spring for this, for the tail, in case a bass was to eat this whole thing and yank it off. And yes, they do that. But you get a spare tail, a spare CPS spring, and a frog, which in my eyes, still $16.99. You're going to catch some very nice fish with this lure, and a lot of fish. Some people will be even catching PBs on this lure. There's some modifications that I do to it along the way to keep it going, keep it moving. It is a fantastic frog, especially if you're just a beginner or even just a mid-level guy that wants to get into frogging a little bit more. This is a no-brainer here to me. You just throw it out there and wind it back in right across the surface. It floats, so you're able to stop it in the middle of your retrieve. You're able to pause it along a stump, like a little patch of lily pads, any kind of grass, any kind of stump, lay down, or just out in open water. Just pause it real quick. You're able to do that. Most of the time, I keep it moving and will flat out kill this thing. You get some of the most violent strikes on this lure. Definitely has me hooked on a topwater lure. If some of you OGs remember, back, I think during COVID, this was a very difficult lure to get a hold of. People were buying these up and reselling them on eBay, $50 to $100 a pop. It was stupid in my opinion, so I scoured the internet and I come across this original video, which I'll give some love to that person at a later time. Well, right now, because I have to do some digging to find that video. But I do have it somewhere in my files on my YouTube account. But yes, I do have files on different types of fishing, different topics, different stuff that I like to find. When I find something good, I stick it in one of them little folders. Anyway, so this is a well-built frog. It just... not everybody, has $16.99. So right now you can easily make your, these run about $5 to $10 depending on the type of frog. Some of these frogs are $15. My frog, the Spro frog, Spro 65 Midnight Black, or Midnight Walker, I think is the name of the color, solid black one. That one cost about $9.99, I think. Some places probably try to sell it to you for $11.99, $12.99. It's still an expensive frog. The frogs have gotten a little bit more expensive. I remember when these Sprinker frogs were $13.99, and people were buying them and selling them for 2, 3, 4, 5 times the amount. But nonetheless, I come across this video that showed you how to modify and make your own little homemade Sprinker frog. So here we are. We're going to get right into the video. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So you got those gummy ass legs. Cut that shit off. You don't need it. Don't do what I do. Pull and cut at the same time. You just want to snip the tip so it fills a hole just like that. But nonetheless, you just want to drop some silicone or some super glue in there. I'm going to just drop a couple drops of super glue in there just for shits and giggles for the video. The super glue I like to use is this Loctite 401. I really like that Gorilla Glue, not the gel. I like the super glue. It's already coming out. Hold it down so it kind of goes right, bubbles out. Hopefully is what I was thinking it was going to do. Just hold it like that. Try to get it so it doesn't try to glue your shit right to the frog. Not trying to glue the frog together. So just going to hold it like that. Maybe blow on it. Alright, let's go. Alright, so just to make things easier, if you never knew this, you grab the frog like this, pull back, you turn this a quarter turn, and it'll turn your frog like this. It's a whole lot easier to work on and put your hardware onto this frog now. So you want to take this, and one of the things you're going to need for this is a 3-way swivel, or from what I grabbed the wrong thing, essentially it's cross-line swivel with twisted wire eyes. Just need a 3-way swivel. I guess this is considered a 3-way swivel compared to this. It's just a cross-line swivel, I guess. I don't know much about swivels. I just know I just need it to swivel. So, and I grabbed a number 4. They come in a 4-piece. So just take one of those out of the package. You're gonna grab it. You're gonna hold the middle one, and you're gonna hook the 2 outside ones onto the frog hooks. Just be careful not to hook yourself. I'll try not to knock the camera out. Alright, you got it on there. Just like that. Go ahead and set that down. You're also going to need yourself a pair of split wire pliers, which look like that. They have a little split wire thing that splits it open. Allows you to put it on there with ease. Another thing, I got size 3, which I realized are too small for this application, I feel like. So I'm going to just go with a Owner Hyperwire Split Ring number 4. Seems to be the right size. Any size number 4 you can utilize. Oh shoot, I got some Bass Pro Shop right here. Let's go ahead and save the Hyperwire for something better. Let's go ahead and get one of these. These are Bass Pro Shop Premium Split Rings. I don't think they're anything comparable to the Hyperwires. Let's go ahead and grab one of these. Split ring it. Let's go ahead and fix it onto this middle one. Just like so. I'll try to get you guys so you can see this. Just take your time. You're not in no hurry. Unless you're out in a freaking boat doing this. It just says you sat around the night before when you shouldn't have. So you got it on there like this. You can clearly see. Now we need to get ourselves a CPS centering pin spring from Owner in size large. Come in an 8-pack. Grab one of these. I'm gonna take this. And we're gonna go ahead and thread it onto this split ring. There we go, just like that. Now we're gonna turn this frog back right side up. We'll put it down. Now it should hang down like this. And ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to cut our tail for the homemade Sprinker frog. Here we go. Now any of your boot tail are gonna do for this. I like the bluegill. I like all the natural colors, like the green pumpkins, blue. I don't really feel like a color is going to be an issue. Really, the biggest issue you can do is to cut this leg too short the very first time. So what you want to do, you want to cut this down, but you want to cut it down extra long so you have a little option to cut it down as you play with it, because there is a certain pitch and a certain length that creates a certain pitch in the tone of this whopper, weedless whopper plopper type of a frog, if that makes any sense to some of you. All I could say is that you will hear, once you hear it, you'll be like, oh yeah. And once you know what the whopper plopper noise is, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's it. Well, it creates the same freaking noise. You just want to make sure that your thing is going to be straight up like this. You want your ring to be upright. I don't think that's 100%. There. And I'm able to cut this down. This is just a shitty one that was sitting in the bottom of the boat. I could just tell you from looking at it, I'm going to have to cut off at least a ½ inch off of this, just looking at it. But that's where I would start at. I would go to the water and I would tie this on. I would throw it out there. And I would wind it back in. Pretty fast pace, pretty good clip to it. It seems to, every frog is made different. It may seem better to use a bigger 3-way swivel or a smaller one, depending on you, how high you want that to sit, how low you want that to sit. Like this, I don't like how it's sitting like that. So I would, every time I bring it in from a cast, I would make sure that I would just take a quick look at it and make sure that the tail was sitting below the butt. And I think that thing is just going to rip right across the water. It definitely catch some fish. It is super fun. You can fish this over top of grass, lily pads, wood. The best is grass. Any kind of matted grass or just submergent grass that the fish will get into. This thing is deadly. It is a very, very cool lure. I highly recommend. That's just bugging me, so I'm going to go ahead and just cut that down for you guys. But it's just a super cool lure that gets bit. And sometimes it is the only lure I can get bit on. There are some days I've had some really good days with this frog, especially at Lake X. Lake X has more than enough grass so I can spend a day doing this type of fishing. So there you go. I kind of made it up a little bit better. Still sitting on there a little funky. But nonetheless, you just keep playing with this. They do make these tails in, packs of 4. And you get the CPS spring there as well in the packs of 4. But this is just in case you run out of these tails. I will tell you, if that makes no pun intended, that the type of tail, if you look at this tail, the original OG tail of it, it's a specialized shaped tail, and it has that plopping noise. It's hollow even on the inside, which is pretty cool. Now you look at when you're shopping for these replacement tails, or when you're looking for some easy replacement tails, you got to look at some of these tails. Some of them work better than others. I know Walmart has a tail that is a blue swim bait called the Hammer, I think. I think it's a 5-inch, and it's basically a square tail. The back of the looks like a square compared to this, which is kind of teardrop, as this is too, but this one's more like an egg shape. But there's like a square one. It makes really good noise. I just didn't have one when I was setting up to shoot this video. But I will try to hunt some down and show you guys that. You can actually go to your nearest Walmart and look for it for yourself. More than likely they have it there. But nonetheless, you could throw this frog anywhere. The best thing about this frog compared to the original Sprinker frog is that these hooks sit out from the body, and the body is super soft. So there's times that you're going to snag stuff with this, and it's going to kill your bite. This, modifying your own frog, if you look, the hooks sit way tighter to the body. You're less likely going to snag on stuff. Nothing worse than making a perfect cast, going across a piece of wood, and this thing rolls over and snags that piece of wood. Oh, I will become unglued. You throw this come back unscathed, unsnagged. Still gets the bite, gets the catch, gets the job done. I could throw this in super thick cover and have minimal snags. If you look at this Spro frog, the hooks sit really tight to the body. I actually ripped the shit out of that frog body when the frog hook got stuck in there, and I set the hook on a fish and I ripped that body out. So I super glued it, took a Sharpie to it, starting to mess this up. But the legs got all gummy, so I come up with an idea of making this a magnum sized Sprinker frog. They will knock the shit out of this and knock your weight off. The original Sprinker frog's weight is shaped like this. It's not, I'm guessing that it's like 1/8 of an ounce, maybe 3/16 ounce. I think overall this frog weighs 5/8, so it's pretty heavy, and you can bomb it pretty good on a bait casting gear. But nonetheless, that frog, that little lead weight right there is probably about 1/8 of an ounce. So I would take 1/8 of an ounce lead weight, put it on some flat piece of concrete, and smack it with a hammer till it's flat. Take a pair of scissors and shape it to make it look like this. If you want it a little bit heavier, you can even take a 3/16 to a 1/4 ounce. Make it shaped like this. Super glue the fire out of that thing on there, like they've already knocked the shit out of it again and knocked that weight that I made off of it again. But it's still kicking. These tails are just about had it. I got more on the order, so it'll be coming shortly, coming soon. As far as gear that I throw these on, is that most of the time I throw this on depending on the cover. If the cover's really heavy, I'll throw it on a bigger rod. But this on a bigger rod, you probably can get away with the medium heavy. You don't need to throw this on a heavy action rod. Now, if you modify it to be King Daddy Sprinker Frog with a giant tail, then yeah, I see that. I see you putting it on a 7'6" heavy action rod. I could fish these other frogs on 7' to 7'3" medium heavy. Just your average frogging rod, buzzbait rods. Some of my rods I utilize as the Boo Garcia Vengeance, medium heavy, 7'. I put a 7-to-1 Bass Pro Shop Pro Qualifier. It's an old school, it's an old ass reel, but it's my frog reel. It gets the job done. A couple other ones that are notable is the Lew's Speed Spool Reel. I have it matched up on a 13 fishing blackout rod, 7'3", medium heavy. This is the same kind of rod that you would throw a swim jig on. Same type of rod you would throw a frog on. Yeah. Other than that, like the tails, I would really not go any lower than about a 4.8 because of the thickness of the tail. The thicker you go, the less plop you're going to get. The bigger you go, the more plop you're going to get, I feel, depending on the frog size and the frog weight. You have to take all that into the equation and come out and see what you got at the end. But this is the tails that I have left over for my version of the Sprinker Frog. These are a Castaic Jerky J-Swim 7-inch swim baits. Used them a little bit, had never really caught anything on them. Then one day I just got the idea to make this giant frog, and I bought it purposely for this frog. So yeah, one of the last things I'll have is made by River to Sea. It's a very cool thing. Mine currently at the moment is jammed up and it won't spin or turn. I gotta figure out why. But these are fairly cheap at Tackle Warehouse. I don't have any kind of thing. You just have to look up or search River to Sea. But you fit it on there like I am on your frog that has no legs, and this thing will plop just like the Whopper Plopper. It fits right over. It's just like what I'm doing. I don't know the longevity of these. I do know the longevity of mine. I've had this frog for over 10 years. I've caught 6-pound plus fish with this. I've lost one fish that was probably a 9+ pound fish at Lake Sawyer here in King County. But nonetheless, this frog flat out gets bit. But this thing will plop its ears off. It's really a cool lure. But like I said, I don't know the longevity. Obviously, this thing's locked up and it's not working now. But anyway, I hope to God you guys like this video. It is a cool little thing. During the COVID, I was definitely doing this stuff and fishing these type of baits. Hit the like button. Appreciate it. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Remember, size 4. There's a size 2. That's probably for the bigger frog. This is for your standard frog. And then I would use a size 4 split ring with a large CPS spring made by Owner. It's the best ones that they make that I've found. The key to that one is the centering pin spring. That little thing, it's really easy to put on. But anyway, hit the like button. Thank you very much. Until next time, Swimbait 79 out.